Have you ever wondered how psychologists figure out if something is actually true? How do they determine if their findings are significant or just a fluke? Like, if a new type of therapy really works better than an old one? Or if a new medication is more effective than the current standard? That's where the t-test comes in. It's a statistical test that helps researchers make sense of their data. A t-test is like a special tool. It's used to compare the means of two groups and see if they are different from each other in a meaningful way. Psychologists use it to see if there's a real difference between two groups. For example, they might compare the effectiveness of two different therapies. It helps us understand if the results of an experiment are because of what we changed or just random chance. This is crucial for making valid conclusions. Imagine you're trying to see if a new plant food helps your flowers grow taller. You want to know if the new food really makes a difference. You'd give one group of flowers the new food and another group regular food. This way, you have a control group and an experimental group. Then, you'd measure how tall they grow. By comparing the average height of the two groups, you can see if there's a significant difference. The t-test helps you see if the difference in height is because of the new food or just random variation. It gives you a way to quantify your results and make informed decisions. In psychology, we study people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. These elements are complex and often interwoven, making them challenging to quantify accurately. These things can be hard to measure. Psychologists often face difficulties in ensuring their observations are precise and meaningful. That's why we need tools like the t-test. The t-test is a statistical method that helps us analyze data and draw valid conclusions. T-tests help psychologists make sure their findings are reliable. By using this tool, we can determine if the results of our studies are significant or just due to random chance. They give us confidence that the differences we see in our experiments aren't just flukes. This statistical assurance is crucial for advancing psychological research. This is important for making sure that new treatments and therapies actually work. Without reliable data, we can't be certain that our interventions are effective. Let's say a psychologist wants to see if a new stress reduction technique helps people feel calmer. They would need to measure stress levels before and after the intervention. They could use a t-test to compare the stress levels of people who learned the technique to those who didn't. This comparison helps in understanding the effectiveness of the technique. The t-test would tell them if the technique really makes a difference in reducing stress. If the results are significant, it means the technique is likely effective, providing valuable insights for future therapies. There are a couple of different types of t-tests, just like there are different tools for different jobs. One type is called an independent samples t-test. We use this when we have two separate groups, like in our plant experiment. Another type is the paired samples t-test. We use this when we're comparing the same group of people at two different times, like before and after trying a new therapy. Choosing the right type of t-test depends on the specific research question. Don't worry, psychologists are trained to know which one to use. Section 4. A simple example. Let's imagine we want to see if listening to calming music before bed helps people fall asleep faster. This is a common question many people have, especially those who struggle with insomnia or have trouble winding down at the end of the day. We could do an experiment with two groups of people. This way we can compare the effects of calming music on sleep latency between those who listen to music and those who do not. Group 1 listens to calming music for 30 minutes before bed. This group will be exposed to soothing melodies designed to relax the mind and body. Group 2 doesn't listen to any music. They will go through their usual bedtime routine without any auditory intervention. Then, we measure how long it takes each person to fall asleep. This involves monitoring their sleep patterns and recording the time it takes for them to transition from wakefulness to sleep. We could use an independent samples t-test to see if there's a significant difference in the time it takes each group to fall asleep. This statistical test helps us determine if the observed differences are likely due to the calming music or just random chance. If the t-test shows a big difference, it might mean that calming music does help people fall asleep faster. This could have important implications for improving sleep hygiene and developing non-pharmacological treatments for sleep disorders. Section 5. Real-world applications. T-tests are used in all sorts of psychology research. They help us understand everything from how different types of therapy affect depression to how sleep deprivation impacts memory. They're essential for making sure that the treatments and interventions we develop are actually effective and based on solid evidence. Next time you hear about a new study about the brain or behavior, remember the t-test. It's one of the tools that helps psychologists make sense of the amazing world of human behavior. Section 6. Conclusion and further exploration. So, there you have it. The t-test is a powerful tool that helps psychologists answer important questions about the human mind and behavior. While we've only scratched the surface here, hopefully you now have a basic understanding of what a t-test is and why it's so important in the field of psychology. If you're curious to learn more, there are many resources available online and in libraries. Keep exploring, and who knows what amazing discoveries you might make.